Hi everyone, I'd like to share with you the tale of Peter Rabbit. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, Mopsy, Flopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. The 4 little rabbits lived with their mother under a big fir tree. One day, Mrs. Rabbit said to the little bunnies, "You can go out down by the lane, or you can go into the fields, but do not go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there, and ended up in one of Mrs. McGregor's pies. I am going out now. So go, don't get into any mischief, but go on. I'm going out." Mrs. Rabbit went into the wood to the baker's. She got 5 currant buns and a loaf of bread. While she was gone, Mopsy, Flopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down to the lane to collect blackberries. But Peter was a naughty bunny, and he went straight for Mr. McGregor's garden and went right under that gate. Once he was in Mr. McGregor's garden, he ate French beans, he ate radishes, all kinds of things, and then he got feeling quite sick, so he went around looking for some parsley. Peter went right around the corner, and what do you know? He ran right into Mr. McGregor. Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting some young cabbages when he saw Peter. He stopped, stood up, and started yelling, "Stop, thief, stop!" Peter just kept running and running and running, and soon he didn't know where he was in the garden. He couldn't find the gate anymore. Peter lost a shoe. He lost one of his shoes in the potatoes. He lost one of his shoes in the cabbages. Pretty soon he had no shoes on. He was just running as fast as he could on his 4 feet, and he was running pretty fast too. He might have almost made it out, except he ran straight into a gooseberry net. Peter stopped and just considered himself lost. He started to shed a tear, but some very friendly sparrows heard him, and they flew to him and said, "Come on, keep going, keep going." Mr. McGregor was about to put a sieve on top of him to trap Peter, but Peter used all of his might, and he got out of there. He left his jacket behind, though. Then Peter went into the tool shed, and he found a great place to hide in a watering can. Well, it would have been a great place to hide, except the watering can was full of water. Mr. McGregor went into the tool shed. He knew Peter was there. He thought maybe Peter was under some of those flower pots. So he turned all the flower pots over, looking for Peter. And then Mr. McGregor heard a "Kerchoo!" It was Peter. Peter had sneezed. Now Mr. McGregor knew Peter was in the tool shed. Peter just started running. He ran through a small window that Mr. McGregor could not get through. On his way out, he ended up upsetting 3 plants. Mr. McGregor was tired by that point and just went back to his work, tired of chasing Peter all day. Once outside, Peter didn't know what to do. He walked around slowly. Didn't know where to go. He did see a mouse that was walking back and forth bringing some food from the wood to his family. He asked the mouse, "Where's the gate?" The mouse had a big pea in his mouth. Just couldn't answer, just shook his head. That just made Peter cry. Then Peter went down to where Mr. McGregor fills his watering cans in one of the ponds. He stopped. He saw a cat sitting very still at the water's edge, looking at some goldfish. The cat didn't move. The cat's tail would twitch as if it were alive. Peter decided not to talk to that cat. He had heard about things from his cousin, Benjamin Bunny. Didn't want to talk to that cat. Then Peter decided to go on top of a wheelbarrow and look around, see what he could see. He went on top of that wheelbarrow, and he looked over. He saw Mr. McGregor hoeing some onions. But then, right beyond Mr. McGregor was the gate. Peter decided to make a run for it. He slowly went down the wheelbarrow and ran. He ran so fast to that gate and ran right under. Mr. McGregor had seen him and was running after him, but he didn't get to Peter in time. Peter just kept running and running and running until he made it home. Once he was home, he flopped down on the floor of his mother's place. His mother was busy cooking, but she wondered where his jacket and his shoes were. That's the second pair he had lost that week. Peter went right to bed. His mother gave him a teaspoon of chamomile tea and sent him right to bed. And while Peter was in bed sick, those little bunnies, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, were enjoying bread, milk, and blackberries for their dinner. And that's the story of Peter Rabbit. This is a classic from Beatrix Potter. I know many of you must remember it from your childhoods, and it's definitely a classic. Thank you, everybody.